In 2009, John Jones was a husband, a father-to-be, and a passionate explorer set out to explore a cave for fun. What followed was a 28-hour struggle for survival, with rescuers just inches away from saving him. How did this rescue attempt end in tragedy? Let's find out. In November 2009, John Edward Jones entered Nutty Putty Cave, a popular cave in Utah known for its narrow, twisty passages. But what was supposed to be a fun family adventure soon became a nightmare that would forever change how people view cave exploration. John wasn't new to caving, he had explored many before, but Nutty Putty was different. On this particular evening, John and his brother Josh decided to push their limits by venturing deeper into the cave. It was meant to be just another family outing, but within a few short hours, John would be trapped upside down in a narrow passage, unable to move. A team of rescuers would battle to free him for more than 24 hours. Unfortunately, their efforts would end in heartache. How did a day of adventure turn into one of the most tragic cave accidents in modern history? Let's dig deeper into the details of what happened to John Jones in Nutty Putty Cave. Nutty Putty Cave, located southwest of Utah Lake, was discovered in 1960 by Dale Green and quickly became a popular spot for local adventurers. Known for its challenging, tight spaces, it wasn't a place for inexperienced spelunkers. The cave's most notorious sections, like the aptly named birth canal, were tight, twisty, and left very little room for error. Over the years, Nutty Putty had developed a bit of a reputation. Several explorers had gotten stuck in its narrow passages, but fortunately, all had been rescued. However, by 2006, concerns about safety prompted officials to close the cave to the public. Too many near misses had caused alarm, and it was clear that the cave's layout posed significant risks. But just 3 years later, it was reopened, this time with a permit system in place to regulate who could enter and when. John Jones was no stranger to exploration. Born in 1983, he grew up caving with his family and had plenty of experience navigating tricky terrains. On November 24, 2009, John, now 26, along with his brother Josh, his wife Emily, and some friends, decided to take on Nutty Putty Cave. It was around 8 p.m. when John and his group entered Nutty Putty Cave. Initially, everything seemed fine. John and Josh were laughing, joking, and navigating the cave's tight passages with ease. John's goal was to find a section of the cave known as the birth canal, a notorious tight passage that only the bravest explorers attempted. He believed he had found it. What he didn't realize, however, was that he had made a wrong turn and was heading into an unmarked section of the cave. Crawling headfirst into a narrow opening, John wriggled forward, expecting the passage to widen, but it didn't. Instead, the walls closed in tighter. As he tried to back out, his body became wedged in the passage, his arms pinned to his sides, and he was stuck, upside down, with his head tilted downward. At first, John tried to free himself. He wriggled, pushed, and even tried to call for help. But the more he moved, the more wedged in he became. His brother Josh arrived at the scene, realizing that John was in serious trouble. Josh quickly left the cave to call for help. Rescuers arrived at Nutty Putty Cave within hours. It was clear this was not going to be an easy operation. John was more than 100 feet underground, and the passage he was trapped in was so tight that it made even the simplest movements difficult. Worse yet, he was stuck upside down, a dangerous position that can lead to restricted blood flow, organ failure, and eventual death. The rescue team quickly set to work. Their plan was to use a complex pulley system to carefully pull John out of the narrow passage. But there was one major challenge: the angle. John was trapped at such an awkward angle that even attaching the ropes and pulleys was a struggle. As the hours passed, John's condition began to deteriorate. Being upside down for too long can cause immense pressure on the body, particularly the heart and lungs. Every minute he spent in that position was a minute closer to irreversible damage. Despite the difficulties, the rescuers pressed on. Inch by inch, they managed to shift John's position. At one point, it seemed like they were close to getting him free. But then disaster struck. The pulley system they had set up suddenly failed, sending John right back into the tight crevice. It was a devastating blow for everyone involved. John's family, who had been waiting anxiously above ground, were told that the situation was becoming more critical by the minute. By now, John had been trapped for more than 24 hours. His breathing was labored, his heart was struggling, and the rescuers knew that time was running out. Despite their best efforts, they simply couldn't get him out. Late on the night of November 25th, John stopped responding to rescuers. He had succumbed to the effects of being trapped upside down for so long. The official cause of death was cardiac arrest. John's family was devastated. His wife Emily, who was pregnant with their second child, had to come to terms with the fact that her husband wouldn't be coming home. The rescuers were heartbroken as well, having fought so hard and come so close, only to have their efforts fall just short. Have you ever had an experience where you felt trapped, either physically or emotionally? How did you manage to get through it? Let me know in the comments. In the aftermath of John Jones' tragic death, Nutty Putty Cave was permanently sealed with John's body still inside. His death sparked widespread discussions about the dangers of cave exploration and led to changes in how rescue operations are conducted in such treacherous environments. And what would you do in a situation like John's? It's a chilling thought, and one that will continue to resonate with adventurers for years to come. Nutty Putty Cave may be sealed, but John Jones's story is far from forgotten. Could future explorers find themselves facing a similar fate in other unexplored caves? Only time will tell.